All right, welcome back to another recording of Pencil Leadership. I am Chris Anderson, the host, the guide, the guy who's learning along with everybody else listening in. So super excited today, as always. Just bringing another really cool guest. We're going to be diving into how to build your brand through promotional means. And so we have the promo guy on the show. Swire Ho is born and raised in Hong Kong, now in Los Angeles. So he's got that worldview there. A proud Chinese American, speaks many languages, but it's really cool. He actually trained as a sound engineer and worked at a recording studio and entertainment agency before starting his own firm. So that was Hellman Production, incorporated in 2003. He and his team has successfully produced attractive personalized CDs and DVDs. So think 2003, I mean CDs, DVDs, back when that was a big thing, and custom merchandise like t-shirts, earning a SCORE award in 2009 for small business success. So it shows he knows what he's doing with promotions and how to build a business. And so now eventually his business grew so popular, he decided to actually sell Hellman Production in 2013 to focus primarily on promotional product industry. So Swire, thank you so much for being on Pencil Leadership today.
Thank you, Chris, for having me, and thank you for the well introduced bio there.
No problem. Yeah, thanks for providing all the information. So it made my work a little bit easier. That's always nice. But no, I'm super excited to dive into this aspect of building a brand, promotional based kind of building. Haven't really seen much. I mean, I've seen about how to like promote yourself, do promotions, but to actually speak to someone who is the promo guy and has had so much success is, I'm really intrigued by that and seeing just what maybe I can implement, but hopefully what listeners can take away and implement into their businesses and even in their lives going forward. Before we really dive into it though, would love to kind of, high level hear your story. What got you to be in the promo guy?
Well, you touch on a lot of things there, certainly, jump on different industry throughout the year. So what became the promo guys is actually not related to promotional product. It's because of the pronunciation of my name, Swire. So a lot of time when people call, they go, "Can I speak to?" And then it goes silent. And then every time, or someone call, "Can I speak to?" And then silent. So I think it's not a difficult to pronounce name once you get to know it. But then, I decided to call myself hashtag the promo guy. It's easier to remember. We kind of relate to what we do in the promotional product world. And then, I actually use it as a phrase. If you Google now, Swire hold hashtag the promo guy, you see all the things that I've been doing, all the things that I've said on social media. So it's kind of, working well in terms of what I do.
That's awesome. And it's like, did you always want to do promotional, like small business things, or kind of what even led to that?
It kind of started, in the CD DVD business. So as you know, our previous business was in replication. So we work with a lot of record labels, film company. We're in LA. So along the way, when they finished the album, they said, we're going on tour, or we are going to have a movie premiere. Do you do t-shirts, merchandise, or, what they call the gift bag, the swag bag, for premiere? And then we said yes. So that's how we somehow got into the promotional product business. And then when we sold the business, we think that this is something that will always be available. Maybe you have a different type of product, but there are always going to be clients who are very proud of the logo and wanted to put that on some type of material items to promote their business.
Okay. So I'm curious, being in LA and working with music and movies, did you have any big name movies or individuals that you help promote their movies or their songs or anything like that I might know of?
Well, I think one of the most memorable that I have is we work on the packaging of Earthings. So it was narrated by Joaquin Phoenix.
Wow.
He's very well known then. Well, he was well known 15 years ago, but now he's obviously a lot more well known. But then what it's memorable is not because he's a big name, but then the way that they approach their packaging. So
Okay.
it's environmental friendly. They encourage
Mm,
people to look at our food chain and try to become a vegan. The whole promotion for that is so they don't want any packaging that is in plastic besides the actual disc itself. So we actually have to source, look for, and manufacture packaging that all paper-based, and they
okay.
wanted to use 100% post-consumer waste material. So at that time, it wasn't available. So I remember we have to go through the whole process to make sure that everyone is happy, to make the packaging that they want that is retail ready. So that was a really fun project.
Wow. Okay. So you're doing the production and the packaging of many pieces, many products, like high numbers to send out, right?
Yeah, I think people think about our industry, and we are in a commodity space. But
Hmm.
our thinking for approaching the business is, how do you decommoditize the business?
Mm,
We find out that it's the product and service, and sometimes the thinking of the promo guy will help too, because they can do, for example, going back to the offering projects. They could use any packaging that they want. Why would they want that packaging? So if we go for a commodity, we give them a DVD box, right, back in the days.
yeah.
Then a lot of company can do that in LA. But then just because that they want the specific one that they're looking for, then it comes down to 5 companies that may be able to do it. Maybe with the expertise in printing, we actually the only company that were able to do that project. So in terms of the business side, if we're able to do that for our client, if you are the only company that can do what they're looking for, then you have the business. Then you don't
Yeah.
have to be a commodity. You becomes a service-based, client-based business.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. If you offer the exact thing and you're the only one or the one of very few, then yeah, competition is not as much. So okay, it's so interesting too. Just how that all works. You got to stand out. You've got to be different, and then that's gonna set you apart and make you the kind of the main thing when people are searching that difference. So with that, with promotions, with the promo guy. I guess okay. So why promotion? What's big with promos, promotional material? Like what is it that is so big within promotions?
Well, we had to dive deeper, right? The promotional
Okay.
product part, the actual product is easy. We
Okay.
have access to right now 5,000 different items that is available here today. But
Well.
then it's not the item that set a client or our services apart. It's the thinking process. So before people want to buy, a question that I always ask them is, who are these items for? Who
Mm,
who is your target audience? The more that a client is willing to share who their target audience will be, the better that we help them. Because, for example, an item that works for me as a recipient might be different than you. So we may have totally different interests. So works for me, you might not even care about that item. But then if a company wanted to target each of us, know who we are, and then they will send you target item that are relevant to you, and then they will send me another item that's relevant to me, so then we are able to respond to that product. So I think this is sometimes people don't think about, but it's very important when you're thinking of buying promotional products.
yeah. So understanding what the audience or what the receiver really wants, what's really going to be a benefit to them more than just putting something out there.
Yeah, give you a quick example, because
Yeah.
we are all familiar with digital marketing, right?
Hmm.
So we have Google ads, we have Facebook ads, we have ads everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But then when you buy ads, if you have bought ads before, you know that you need to be target, right? For example, if you're on Facebook, they can let you, fine tune the age, where the demographics will be, what the behaviors are. So we know how, when we buy ads, this is the things that we need to answer. But then on promotional product, they just go, oh, I want to buy this pen. But then if you ask them the same question, which they knew the answer if they had bought ads before, can actually translate into promotional product. If you tell me that they are millennials, they like to play sports, and they like to hang out outdoor on the weekend, I have something for that. Or maybe they are white collar professional, they're behind the desk every day, then we have another products for that. Or maybe they're a soccer mom, they're always
Mhm.
on the go. So we have a different products for that. So just because you are, in the business that you're in, doesn't mean that you can have different targeted groups that you have for your single product. Because, as we know, even for like a Coca-Cola, they know that different scenario, different type of events can have a different effect on, how they consume that product.
Okay. So you've really got to dig deep, and you've really got to figure out the needs and the wants, and really, like, just like anything, who your target audience is and what makes them tick. So what's the benefit of running promotions, using promotional material, like what you provide? What kind of is the benefit of using them?
Well, since we touch on digital marketing, so let's stay on that.
Yeah.
We all know how difficult and expensive sometimes it will be just to get people to respond to something that you're offering. But then we don't think about something that we all do and we don't just notice it. Is when we go online, we like to win. Even doesn't matter what it is. It could be a $5 product, but if I win, I'm better than you. And you have to kind of play around it. So we kind of help a client to provide a sweepstake or maybe something custom with the name and branded logo on it. And then you put out something that you have to do in order to win this item. So that might be responding to a messages that you targeted for them, maybe to grow your audience, or maybe you want them to forward your messages to maybe 2 friends that they have, or get you a referral, or things that you determine just to get a chance, not to win it, to get a chance to win the item. You'll be surprised how many people will go all out trying to just win the item that you
Yeah.
have with your logos on it.
So I guess, is that the best kind of promotion, like making or having multiple steps that they have to accomplish before they get like entered into the prize? Or if they do those, they automatically get it? So is it better to have them enter a drawing after doing things, or automatically get something from doing that? Is there one better than the other?
Well, it depends on the campaign. So, back
Okay.
in the days before the pandemic, we can also do, for example, a restaurant to drive more traffic onto their physical retail place.
Mhm.
They actually have mirrors, in Los Angeles. So people
Mhm.
actually go there. They put a hashtag up there. People just go in and check in, and then obviously they buy whatever that they have at that retail store. So that's another way that you could draw people on there. Maybe you have a limited supply of your promotional product to drive the traffic to your actual location. Or another thing that I think is a successful campaign, you wanted to retain your client. So
Mhm.
we spend a lot of money to market ourselves to get new client, but then for your paying client, we actually don't spend too much as a business to retain them. What if you spend a little money after they purchase to maybe send them a t-shirt or send them something to goes along with your product and services, and then once they receive it, they will be so happy, they'll start taking pictures and post with your item, and then they'll
Yeah.
post it on their social media. So normally we'll pay influencers to do that. But
Mm.
now with just buying the cost of the promotional product, you have all your current client to help you promote your brand. How much would you pay for that? And
Mm.
I think it's just the concept, the item itself, it's the easier part. I think it's the
Yeah.
concept. Me and the client has to constantly working and improving to able to achieve those goals.
What you just said really stood out. Is basically you're helping with promotions, people, businesses, brands have more user generated content being created, because they're sending these free promotional items to clients that then are posting and sharing this on social media, and then basically the business can hey, I saw your picture, thank you for tagging us, can we use that? And they can show people using their stuff or repping their brand. And so that user generated content is just another form of kind of social proof. But by sending them that just because they're a client, I think that's a really cool idea.
Well, let me show you something. I actually
Yeah.
received it myself. I attended a virtual trade show from one of our t-shirt supplier. So they actually sent us this mason jar. So it is a margarita mix. So they print
Okay.
the logo on it. So obviously they have the logo, all the ingredients there. They even sent me a bottle of tequila. I was so happy that I actually put an unboxing video and put it on my social media handle and tag them for it, just because I was impressed with what they do. So think about, creating projects like this. It doesn't have to be really expensive. It's
Right.
relevant. It resonates with me, and then I think it's cool. Then,
It's
uh,
it almost
I
goes back to the saying, like, it's the thought that counts,
mhm.
like they put the thought into sending you that, and that's going to resonate more and it's going to impress people, I think.
Yeah, it was for a virtual meeting, so I didn't
Okay.
consume. Obviously, it's still here.
You're right.
But then, they have a happy hour. You can, they have a bartender actually teach you how to mix it, and then you
Ah,
drink, and then you mingle. So they actually improving their virtual experience, because you and I both have, I'm sure, a lot of virtual meeting, and at
yeah.
the end, it gets kind of boring, right?
Mhm.
You get kind of tired. Then you zoom out, you check in on your Facebook messages, you're looking at your YouTube. But then
Right.
with this, people are more engaged, and you get people together.
That is so cool. That's such a great idea. And we've got to, I mean, myself included, like, think outside the box and how we can improve these virtual things, because they're going to be more normal going forward. And so that's really neat. And I think we can all do that. I think we can all strive to be better and be more unique in these situations. And I think promotions, like promotional items, things like that, are one way we can kind of set ourselves above the rest.
But then you really have to know who your target audience will be, because a lot of
Right.
conversations that I have, even for bigger company, is we wanted to target everyone. I know you're a restaurant, but not everyone will come to your restaurant. Really, you
Right.
have to think deeper. There are people who are spending more money. Maybe they like to open wine. They spend more than the other groups, right?
Mm,
Or maybe you are a business that sell high-end items. So you have your own customer base. You know that these are the people who might afford or might like your product. So it's okay to be a niche,
mm,
to have your own loyal client, and then you got to keep them. You got to make them happy. You got to engage with them. Make them proud to be the mini ambassador. Like we just talked about your brand. So whenever they go out, they wear your T-shirt. So when people
yeah.
ask them, who's that company on that T-shirt, they will actually talk on behalf of your company, and you're paying them, right? You're buying the T-shirt. That's it. And then everywhere they go, think about it this way: going back to the day that everyone have a band T-shirt, a band that they like, and we
Yep.
pay money to buy that band T-shirt, which is a merchandise, by the way. And then wherever you go, you connect with other people who might not discover the band. You actually, you have to listen to this band. They're great, and then they will tell you all about that brand. So think about having people talk on your company on your behalf, and there
Yeah.
are creative way that you can train people to do that for you.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's so, because it's just, you're just adding more value. You're just being able to give at another level, and you're not asking for anything in return, except maybe you have someone tag in a comment, nothing with a lot of weight. You're just basically just giving to people. And then they're going out and kind of spreading more about what you do and who you are. So that, I think it's really neat. And um, so what do you see right now? Have you noticed recently? And I know you serve a lot of clients, and so I don't know if you have an answer to this, but is there a certain thing that's kind of like the hot commodity among promotional items right now?
I think from what we have seen, and we have a lot of conversation with our client, I think
Hmm.
direct mailing is making a comeback. We're
Really?
thinking about digital this, digital that. I think
Uh-huh.
it's still very useful, but then I like to receive something like that in the
In
mail.
the
I
mail,
open it
yeah.
up right away, and if people
Because it's so
actually,
unique now. It's
yeah,
so, you don't see it as often.
yeah. So if you already have relationship, and especially good if you have the address for
Hmm.
your target audience, send them something from the mail. Create a clever campaign to drive
Mm,
response and engagement that you want, that you predetermine. Maybe you want them to visit your new website. Maybe you have a new product that you're pushing out, and you want them to tune in, like your YouTube Live, for example, then you can actually engage with them using promotional product. Or when you go on to a virtual meeting, you can present them gadgets or item.
Mm,
Or another thing is, if your item is like a more expensive or elaborate item, can you send them a smaller taste of experience of the actual item?
okay.
So we all like samples, we all like to try out things, and if your product lives up to what they expect to be, and then you get more sales that way. So
Huh.
mini experience, engagement, and then loyalty of your brand is how I would recommend client to consider when they're thinking about promotional products.
Okay, cool. I love this, and I just recently was listening to someone speak, and they were talking about the book Giftology, and using kind of promotions, gifts to connect with higher level individuals, to either get in the room with them, speak with them, get them on a podcast, things like that. So that's still a form of personal kind of promotion almost, but they were personalizing for those individuals. So do you do like singular products that can be personalized towards like an individual, or is that a different market?
Yeah, on certain item, and
Okay.
you bring a really good concept. I would break it down to two ways. So, if you're talking about high achiever, for example, the C-level executive, they
Mhm.
normally have what we call a gatekeeper or secretary. You don't get to speak to the boss, right?
Yeah.
You go through a certain people, and a lot of us in sales, we try to trick them in so we can speak to the boss. But my approach is I like to hang out at the gate, because gatekeeper secretaries are my friends, because
Hmm.
they assign the schedule for the boss, right? They know exactly where they will be, what kind of openings that they have. I will actually suggest clients send them gifts for the secretary. So
Okay.
you're on the good side. So whenever they can fit you maybe a 5 minute, 10 minute slot to the boss, would you take it? Of course you will. But then you got to be friends with them. You got to be level with them. So
Hmm.
think about the gatekeeper gift too. And then, for example, bringing to for example, we both have a podcast, and the better our guest, the better it will do to our show, obviously. What about if you can allocate a certain budget? For example, a high achiever, maybe a celebrity, right? We send them a personalized gift, and a lot of people still don't have a decent sounding mic. What if we send them a microphone with their name on it,
Mm,
or items that will get them look good, sound good when they come onto the podcast, and then
yeah.
you give them something personalized? How do you think that will be more likely they will say yes and commit to be on the show?
Oh yeah, I think it would definitely cut through all the noise of people asking them, and having them on the show. So it sets you apart for sure, which I think is so important, because there is so much noise out there. There's so many people doing their thing, and that's cool, that's great, but you've got to differentiate yourself to connect with different people. So okay, so and you mentioned this too, and I'm curious. You mentioned you can allocate a certain amount of budget. What would be a budget for maybe someone starting out, or maybe someone who's got a bigger clientele base and revenue coming in? So like the two sides of the coin, like if someone's just kind of starting out wanting to do promotional, how do you direct them, maybe budget wise or ideal wise, to still be able to do promotions on a low investment budget?
Well, I think, well, there's no low budget. There's a different budget. For example,
Hmm.
let's say I only have 5 clients. I'm
Right.
starting out. Instead of coming and using whatever budget that you have available to target everyone, what about you build a better relationship with your 5 clients? So what if you can double your 5 client? Now you have 10 clients. And
Yep.
another thing to do is, even if you say I only have $500, right? I have 5 clients. That means you could spend $100 per client, instead of when you buy $500 of pen that is 50 cents each, you could buy 1,000 pens. What would you rather be? I would definitely recommend that you spend on the 5 client that you have. So what you can do, you could be really personalized. $100 can buy you a lot of nice gift that is relevant and catered to their specific personality. And what you do afterwards is, check in with them, send them a nice gift. Do you know Mr. Klein or Mrs. Klein? Do you know if any colleague or friends that will be happy with the service that we do? Can you actually send me a referral to that friends or colleagues? So you might be surprised when you ask nicely, and while they're having, good impression about your services and the gift that they just received, they might just give you the next referral that you're looking for. This is, creative way, if you're just starting out or you only have a handful of clients, to be able to double that client to become you have 10 clients.
No, and that's a good point. I think the value shifts, and I think you make a bigger kind of splash in the pond, even with a lower clientele base, by being able to invest a little bit more per person. And so I think that'll go a long way. So no, that was interesting. That's good. That's a good point for sure. And so do you suggest a single item? Or I've seen people do the gift bags, the swag bags, the boxes. Which do you find more value with? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. It depends on the product, but I'd love to hear your opinion on that. Like a single item or a box of multiple things, smaller things.
Well, again, it depends on who that person will be. For example, I know that a client, and the customer that they're targeting, they like serving. And they're the C-level executives, so they have everything. They have a lot of things that are available to them. Don't really care about any product that you send them. Just because they like serving, at the end of the year, they actually gave them an award, and we printed on an actual full-size 7 feet tall surfboard for them, with their name on it. Their company name may be small, and the executive is so happy. Is right now is sitting in the conference room that they have, and it's displaying obviously his name on it and their company's name. So when people walk in and said, who gave you that award, is really nice. And then now the CEO is talking about your company. How much impact do you think that will be? It's just that they know who the person will be. The more that you know about, I won't expect you to know, maybe you have like 300 clients. You can't know all 300 clients. But then if you only have a handful of clients, especially your top 10, top 5 clients, you got to know who they are. What do they like? Where do they hang out? And then provide me with all the information. And together we'll find something that they'll be so happy. And then you're able to build onto that relationship. That's
a great point. And it's you get to know people on a deeper level. You get to kind of understand what they like. And it's less superficial, and so it leaves a bigger mark, a bigger impact. And I mean, think if everyone, if all businesses did that kind of research on their top clients and promoted that way. I know not everyone does, and so think what it would be like if everyone was doing stuff like this. It'd be so cool.
Well, if they're your top 10, you kind of have to, right? If you're not doing that, then you're missing out. What if you can actually clone your top 10 client? Now how would that affect your bottom line? So the more that you can research and know about the top 10 client, the better chance you will be. Maybe within the top 10 client, you can serve more by asking the right question within the whole organization. For example, one of my top clients, they're in the tech industry. So I normally work with the marketing department, right? So that's how the promotional product come in. I start talking to them. I find out that there's actually need for my product in the HR department. They bought T-shirts from us for employees appreciation. They actually have an administrative department. They have lounges that they have in tech company. They actually bought a lot of mugs and a lot of kitchenware with logo branded on it. Just by me asking them, who do you think that might benefit from what we do? And then from there, I expand to working with one department to 5, 6 different departments within the same company.
Wow. Yeah, it compounds, it just kind of builds on itself. And it just goes back again, just to giving more, to making people feel special and lifting them up, and so that's such, and that's why I'm glad that you gave your time to be on here today to talk about promotions and the importance and the impact and how we can go about doing that. And it's just being unique and being different. You don't have to just spend what you can, do what you can. And even at the end of the day, even if it's just a special experience for this top 10. So maybe you hold something special for them that's like a virtual event, and you have someone who's donating their time to teach a drink mix at whatever it is, just trying to think outside the box and providing something different and special for those top clients, I think is such a crucial thing to think about within your business.
Yeah, I understand, when you started out, every dollar counts. Even if you cannot spend in promotional product, that's fine. A handwritten notes to mention something that uh, memorable will be good also.
Yeah.
Ask them, just a phone call thanking them for your service. But you got to reach out. You got to, if they are your top 10 client, you got to be constantly checking in with them, to see what they need. I will even forward out that you don't need promotional product. You need
The
your
promo
CPA,
guy said it.
you need your website, you need other things that to run a business, but then you don't need promotional product. But then when you buy them, you got to have it in brand. For example, again, if you're a luxury brand, don't buy something cheap. If you're environmentally friendly, don't buy something from me that packaged in 5-layer of plastic. Or if you are kid friendly, that item got to be kid friendly. So it got to be on brand and relate to the message that you sending to client. Don't get people confused about your tagline or your mission statement. So you don't have to buy it, but when you buy it, you got to buy it right.
And that brought up a question, and it'll kind of wrap us up. But when we're sending promotional products, is it a no-no? Is it against kind of the promo guy rules to send? So say if I had a book, which I don't yet, if that was my promotional product, is that too much pointed to me and not them? Like, does that kind of not work as well? Or is that still well received, or should it be not directly related to yourself as a brand or the business?
I think that would make a good promotional product, knowing your client.
Okay.
Give you a quick example. I have a contact. She's a hospitality consultant. So she actually wrote a book about customer service, how to improve your customer service.
Okay.
And her client are hotel chains, right? So she actually sent her book to her client, the executive, and they liked the book so much because they actually helped them train the staff. They decided to buy 500 copies of the book from her.
Oh, wow.
And to actually send it to all the employees around, their local chain. So this could be a good gift if it's related to what the customer cares about and, related to the message or the industry that they're in.
Okay. So at the end of the day, really, just like almost anything else within business, you have to think about your target market. You have to think about the audience. You have to think about the clients you're serving. At the end of the day, with anything, I think that's what it kind of comes down to. The same with promotions. Okay. Awesome. Well, this has been really good, Swire. Very eye-opening and enlightening. It's been a good conversation, and it excites me to I guess one of my strengths is I like giving gifts. I like giving things, so it always makes me happy to be able to give people things. So, to hear kind of some ideas from you and direction with it was good. And I know a lot of people in the audience feels the same way and are going to take a lot from it as well. So before we do wrap up, though, Pencil Leadership's kind of a canned question that we usually do with guests is that the fifth trait of Pencil Leadership's that we are created uniquely and with a purpose to leave a positive mark on the world. And so with that being said, when everything is said and done for you here on Earth, what do you hope your positive mark is?
I like fitness, so it's not related to business, for example, but then I try to mix in fitness with business. So I think, if
that's awesome.
that will make a mark on, some individual that, I think we all, being stuck in a virtual meeting, and we need to go out, safely, of course.
Yeah.
And then, we need to be physically strong and, mentally helpful. So by going out just to take a short walks every day, 10, 15 minutes, that's it. Maybe go with your family, friends or your dogs, and that's it. So you will see the difference right away.
That's awesome. So leaving a positive mark on taking care of yourself, and your health and thinking about your audience through promotion. So I love it. So thank you again, Swire, so much for being on Pencil Leadership. Where can people connect with you at so they can find out more about promotions and what you do?
Sure. The name of our company is Garuda Promo and Branding Solutions. They can also go to our website at garudapromo.com. If they wanted to Google me, Swire Ho, hashtag the promo guy, just like I have it right here. You can find out more about what I do.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Thank you again so much, Swire, for being on Pencil Leadership.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. And if you guys, hey, and if you enjoyed this, make sure you share it on whatever platform, like it, subscribe, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. It just helps us get these messages in front of more people so we can leave a bigger positive mark on the world. And again, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. And until next time, let's go out.